Modern dating. Some say it's never been better, with the internet helping to connect us with others in our area that also want to date. But let's be real here. Many see the landscape of dating today to be extremely dismal. Sure, the internet offers an opportunity to meet people, but at what cost? We seem to be lonelier than ever, more chronically online than ever. And to sum it up, if I were to ask you directly if you had a positive or negative view of modern dating, I'd maybe wager that roughly 3/4 of you would say that you had a negative view. Now in this video, we're going to explore what this landscape of dating actually is in order to navigate it. Because really, we could just talk about how everything sucks and I suck and you suck, but I suck slightly more because I'm running this show channel. But I'm willing to bet that you want to actually have a good love life. I mean, is that really an unreasonable assumption? So in part 1 of this video series, we're going to see what modern dating is all about in order to better navigate it. The philosophy text we'll be using today is The Art of Loving by Erich Fromm. Now wait a minute, you might say. Fromm wrote this book in 1956. How can you possibly say that it relates to modern dating when it was written roughly 70 years ago? Well, Fromm makes some observations about dating that aren't made irrelevant by the use of the internet, but instead have been strengthened by it. It's like Fromm pointed out a fire and the internet poured gasoline on that fire. And I'm sure you'll hear some of his observations and immediately see what he's talking about in today's world. So to start off, Fromm sees a problem with how many people even view love in the first place. Most people see the problem of love primarily as that of being loved, rather than that of loving, of one's capacity to love. The ways in which people want to be loved play out in similar ways to Fromm's time. Generally speaking, he talks about how men try to be successful, rich, and powerful, while many women focus on making themselves look attractive. Obviously, with a reduced emphasis on gender roles today, things are a bit more mixed. But it's generally understandable that people want to glow up or be successful in order to attract people. There's a term thrown around that is honestly kind of cringy, but it's nonetheless used, and it's called sexual market value. This refers to how valuable you are in the dating market and what kind of partner you can get. A similar concept might be leagues, you know, the saying that she's out of your league or he's out of your league. So when we think of having a successful love life, we think about being loved, and to be loved, many people try to level up in society. What most people in our culture mean by being lovable is essentially a mixture between being popular and having sex appeal. So let's put Fromm aside for a minute and think about how the internet plays into all this. People are now flooded with options. You used to be limited to date people that you actually interacted with in person, but now you're just flooded with options of attractive people not only showing up on dating apps, but even just social media in general. Now, although this means more options, this also means more competition. Think of it like this. Imagine you run a general store in a small town, but over the years, the town grew into a large city. Now you get more options to shop, but you also now have to compete with many more businesses. And capitalism, generally speaking, keeps successful businesses alive while closing down failing ones. So how screwed are you if you're one of those people that don't have a lot going for you? Now you might feel weird about talking about love in market terms, but Fromm observes this weird influence of market thinking into love. Two persons thus fall in love when they feel they have found the best object available on the market, considering the limitations of their own exchange values. It's weird because a part of it feels like common sense, like yeah, you want the best partner you can get, big deal. But with the impact of the internet, it does feel much more commercial. Swiping through people you find attractive on Tinder and only matching with those that you can quote-unquote afford, or who you can get based on your own looks and success. So we're dealing with an almost market of love. Not in the sense of escorts or anything like that, but you're almost treating yourself like a business. You want to make yourself successful and attractive to succeed so you can get the money to purchase the best thing that you could get. It's kind of up to talk about it like that, but that's the picture that Fromm is painting, and it's not hard to see the similarities in our own society. Okay, so that's what modern dating looks like. Trying to improve yourself so that you could attract the best mate. But what does Fromm suggest we do if this isn't the path we want to take? There seems to be only one adequate way to overcome the failure of love, to examine the reasons for this failure and to study the meaning of love. Fromm wants to move our attention away from being loved to loving. To do this, he recommends that we learn the art of loving. To learn any art, you need to master the theory and master the practice. For example, I draw cartoons and I try to learn better drawing techniques online, but I also continue to draw every day to practice the craft. So that's what the next two videos in this series are going to be about. We're going to examine the theory of love and then the practice of love, or loving. But what do you think about all this? Do you view modern dating as a good thing? Or maybe you have a completely different view of what the modern landscape of dating looks like, according to Fromm. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and while you're down there, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button for more philosophy content. And with that, I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.